Hello and welcome to the astrology vibe of the week ahead. This is a huge week, and I pulled an oracle card, a guidance goddess oracle card to really tap us into like what's the vibe, what's the feeling, and that card that popped out is Arakura or Arakura. And I'm just going to read to you about this goddess. At the bottom, it says, "You are just getting started. So have patience with yourself and the process, and do not give up." Otherwise known as keep putting one foot in front of the other. This is the message from her. In many ways, you are like a flower bud who is ready and ripe to open and grow. Don't try to rush this process as it is part of your beautiful path. Enjoy learning new knowledge and skills and take your time to gather new ideas. Nurture your body with plenty of fresh air and sunshine, water, and healthful food. Soon enough, you will get the unmistakable signal that it is time to put your learning into action. Spend time among flowers or work with flower essences and oils to support your growth process. You can see she's like a beautiful, blossoming white, almost like an orchid flowering. Various meanings of this card: slow down, have patience, and use aromatherapy or flower essences, and keep the faith. Arakura is a Celtic and Germanic goddess who multitasks as an earth mother deity, a fairy queen. Ah, I love that. And also a bridge between earthly life and the hereafter. She helps us put our goals and challenges into perspective so that we don't needlessly stress ourselves. Call upon her for emergency money or help in manifesting supply. She's especially fond of assisting artists and inventors. Arakura. So this is perfect, gathering information and slowing down as we shift on May 20th into Gemini season, which is the time of information and communication and thinking and being in the head and overthinking and getting ideas and looking this way and looking that way and really being inundated with huge amounts of information. So, this can be a beautiful time to plant seeds and to be gathering, to bring information in that's going to help you in the long term, in the long run. Gemini is the third sign. It's the twins. It's being able to understand all the different sides. It's on a higher consciousness level, being able to step out of the duality or the dichotomy of information and of being on this planet and really see like the prism of potential that's here, where it's not just one way or the other. There's so many ways to think about one thing or to understand one thing or to philosophize on one thing. So if you're someone that tends to go right to extremes, you think black and white, or you're in sort of binary language, like you're thinking, you know, I'll never be able to be where I want to be, or nobody understands me, or any sort of like extreme dichotomous binary thought process that you might have. This is a really good open doorway to connect with accuracy, like what's the truth of your thoughts. And oftentimes, when we're thinking in black or white, what's really happening is we're dramatizing our experience. For example, if you're struggling with something, let's say that you are trying to pass a test and you fail the test and you don't pass the test, it is really common that the brain, makes this like extreme dramatization of your situation. I'll never pass a test again, or I am a failure. I will always be a failure. And the real thing that is the door that's being opened right now is, what's the accuracy? Like, what's the truth of that? Are you really a failure because you messed up? Are you really a failure because this one thing isn't going the way you want it? Are you really a failure because right now, there's a moment of pause in your life? You're not getting exactly what you want at the exact moment with, So this is a really good time to pick apart the false information that might be coming through your brain, through your inner critic. You could change from I'll always be a failure to, oh, I didn't pass this one test, I'll pass the next one. Or right now, my life is at a pause because I'm needing some stillness and I'm needing some recuperation. Or I'm in a transition moment, and right now I get to think about what seeds I really do want to plant, and it's not the end of the world. So Gemini is a really nice, this season, these next 30 days is a really nice open doorway to be in the observer's seat of your mind. The part of you that knows that the thoughts are being thought. Not the part of you that is thinking, but the observer, the one that can see that certain thoughts are being thought and have the ability to catch the thought. Like, oh, I'm so shitty at this thing. Catch the thought. I'm learning how to do this. Catch the thought. I'm learning something new. So what's this shift in perspective that can come in? And it can come in during this time in a really big way. Because it's not just that the sun is moving into Gemini. This week, we also have Jupiter and Venus moving into Gemini. Jupiter is going to stay in Gemini for an entire year now. So you want to open your chart and you want to see, where is the Gemini house? What planets are Gemini that are being activated, and what part of your life is going to have focus on for the next entire year. So definitely, open up your chart. You can do that at astro.com. They do free charts. Just type in astro.com and you can find it. So I'm going to read to you from the Dan Spiller Astrology for the Soul book, which is actually for North Node. So it's for the spiritual evolution of that North Node point in the sky. But it really aligns with the transit of Jupiter for 1 year in Gemini, the sun going into Gemini, and Venus, our values, what we love and what we feel attracted to, all going into this sign, this zodiac sign, the third sign of the mind. Okay, so here we go. This is what we want to lean into during Gemini quality times. Healthy curiosity. That means that instead of labeling something and deciding in one way or the other, this is good or this is bad, this is black, this is white, this has a label, we start to peel the labels off and expand all of the different possibilities of life. And that's like part of being curious in life. When you think about being curious, it's like the way a child's mind wants to understand something and has this ability to have a clear mind as it is curious. Like, I'm thinking about someone tinkering with, like, taking apart a laptop or a computer. Probably a child wouldn't do that, but you know what I'm saying, like taking something apart, being curious. How does this work? Taking something apart, looking at the different pieces, looking at how they fit together. How does this work? I want to understand. I'm curious, not because it's good or bad, not because I have a shit computer, but because I'm curious. And when you're in a curious state of mind, you're actually connected to your frontal lobe, which is just 5% of what your brain uses its energy around. So it's really challenging for adults to get to this curious mode because we're so ingrained in our subconscious and the way things have been and the beliefs that we have and the structures that we've been going about our life with, the systems we've already used. So this is a transit into more curiosity, which actually helps us manifest. That's like the magic secret sauce of Gemini season is it's the manifesting potential because the doors are open to the possibilities and the subconscious mind that says this is how things have gone before, so this is how they go, and that's the end of it. That subconscious mind can take a back seat and you can step forward into your curiosity, into your openness, into your expanded mind. So it's really exciting. Part of this is asking questions and understanding how other people think. And that doesn't mean that you're taking their advice and opinions above your own. It's simply just stepping into this open curiosity, seeing every side of a situation and communicating internal dichotomies. If you are someone that tends to keep your emotions and keep your thoughts in your head, especially things that you struggle with, this is a beautiful time to talk to somebody about it, talk to a friend about it. Uh, you know, seek peer connection. Gemini loves to connect. And when Gemini is connected, it drops into the heart instead of staying in that overly logical mind, that overthinking rumination space. It can drop and it can feel into itself. And from that space, the direction that we're really going, which is towards Sagittarius, because Gemini and Sag are on an axis point. Sag is about having like a focused direction point and going towards that. And Gemini gathers the information. So when you're working with this energy, whatever is rattling around your mind, get it out of your body. Get it out of that. It's taking up mental real estate. Get it on paper. Sometimes I just like to consult with my journal, just writing down what's on my mind and putting it out of my mind onto paper has magical power. There's a call to a more positive approach of your life and of other people, purposefully cheering others up, like being the cheerleader for the people in your life. Listening to others, openness to new ideas and experiences, and looking for gathering all that information before you make any certain decision, before you make a shift. So the opposite energy is Sagittarius, and this is very like spontaneous, and it's so much about I am just listening to my inner truth and no one else, and I am going to follow my heart and I'm going to do it my way. It's kind of self-righteous on a level where you stay stuck. On the level of balancing these two qualities is I'm going to come into more of my higher self and my open, curious self so that I can bounce ideas off of other people and just be in this life in a very curious way. So that's really going to support you in this season. I am going to share the current astrology on the screen right now for May 20th. So May 20th, 0 degrees sun. The sun just popped into Gemini. Sometimes it takes some time to feel this shift. On Monday, we also have Jupiter and Venus at 25 degrees and 28 degrees of Taurus. So the beginning of the week, we still have these planetary energies hanging out in Taurus. And then on May 23rd, which is Wednesday, Thursday for where it depends on your time zone, but Wednesday, Eastern Standard Time, we have Moon at 2 degrees Sagittarius. Sag is this independence loving, freedom loving, spontaneous, future forward, pointed arrow focus of where you're going in your life. It's like you have a dream, you have a goal, and you are wanting to ride that wave there, and you don't even have to look at all the details that are right now, and you don't have to even figure it out right now. All that matters is you know where you're going, and you have this desire, and you're following that desire. And the opposition is Gemini, where we have the sun. And that's that full moon. And Gemini is about what's directly around you right now. What are the details around you right now? How can I be like a squirrel gathering information? Because that time where I, shoot my arrow, we're not quite there. We're like gathering like little squirrels with nuts in our mouths and bringing them to our little tree to hold all of our ideas so that we can sift through them and be curious about them and see what fits, see what feels right after, having conversations about it. Now, May 23rd on this full moons are always a culmination of energy. They're always going to be a time where the emotions rise. I do think that this is, it can be a more fun full moon because Gemini is a fun energy. If you're curious, you're open. And Sag is a more fun energy. It's like, let's travel, let's explore, let's have a party. And there is a lot of fire on this full moon, Sag full moon. So things can still feel like intense or overwhelming. So just go with the flow of how you're feeling. And we are talking about mutability. So we're talking about going with the change, putting on music and dancing and being with the flow of fire. How does fire want to move? How does your internal fire want to move? And where's your passion and your desire taking you? I can really feel that coming through. So we have this full moon in the middle of the week. And full moons are always a great time to be in ceremony, to be in ritual. On 7 p.m. EST on Wednesday, we'll have a full moon ceremony where we'll do breath work to clear out the old and to plant new seeds. And this is really aligned with the Gemini energy. Gemini is air. And then doing the breath work is going to help fuel the Sagittarian fire inside. Sag is the thighs and the hips that take us where we want to go. So we're going to move the energy through the body and really connect with the heart as always. Now, huge deal on that full moon, we have Jupiter and Venus at 29 degrees at the last point of Taurus. Jupiter and Venus, 29 degrees at the last point of Taurus. This is the degree of wisdom. It's also a degree where we can have a higher insight of the experiences that we're going through. So I'm imagining later in this week, we're going to be able to see things from a totally new perspective. And this full moon is showing up in your Sag house, your Gemini house, but also because of the Jupiter Venus in 29 degrees Taurus conjunction, we're still clearing through Taurus. So Taurus is also a really big energetic player in your birth chart on Wednesday midweek on this full moon. Okay, then we have Jupiter and Venus and the sun. We have a stellium all within a 5-degree hangout, all in Gemini. So we're opening our minds in a really expansive way, and we're going to be able to see our thoughts in a new way, be able to connect to new perspectives, be able to tap into new potentialities. And this is really like a turning point of the year and of the astrology because of how slow Jupiter moves. Jupiter takes 12 years to transit through the entire zodiac wheel. 12 years. So that means it's going to stay in Gemini for one entire year. And the Gemini part of your chart is going to be expanded. There will be energy there. So if you're Gemini rising, Gemini sun, Gemini moon, or you have planets that feel potent for you in your chart in the Gemini spot and also in the Sag spot, that oppositional point. And honestly, like all mutable signs, also Pisces, also Virgo, will all be feeling this Jupiter in Gemini for an entire year. Now, another thing to look at is that on this full moon, we have a sweet, harmonious aspect with Pluto in Aquarius, this blue line all the way down to Venus and Jupiter. So this is a good aspect for clearing and releasing and detoxifying and alchemizing. You know, Pluto is the planet of alchemy. It wants us to dig really deep. It wants to get below the surface and find the truth and find what might be in the way of our next growth spurt. I'm saying growth spurt because Jupiter, you know, offers us a spurt. Jupiter gives us that place of higher wisdom. It's fortune. It's benevolent energy. It really is this like positive shift in our lives. And Pluto just really wants us to heal. Pluto's like, you're doing it, girlfriend. Like, keep healing, keep going to those, you know, yoga classes, keep doing your kundalini, keep journaling, keep writing, keep releasing those old ways, those old programs. Pluto on the highest frequency, it just wants us to be able to step into the conscious mind by clearing out all the junk in the junk drawers, you know, that clearing out your trunk. Like, how much shit is in your car, the trunk of your car right now, or in your, you know, closet. It's like, clear it out, because Aquarius, where this Plutonian energy is, it's going for the future, baby. It's like, let's go. And it's really full speed ahead. You might have felt, you know, the energy has felt quite fast since Pluto moved into Aquarius. With this last 30-day in Taurus, things have been a little slower. I mean, astrologically, one would say that they've been slower, but to be honest with you, things feel very fast. And that's going to continue. Gemini is air, Aquarius is air. We have a lot of air focus flowing in. So it's very, very important. Bringing it full circle right now to Arakura. You are just getting started. Even if things feel fast, have patience with yourself and the process, and do not give up. And remember that her whole vibe is slow it down, which is so hard with all this air. It's so easy to be in your head. So how can you bring it into the body and spend time in nature and put your feet in grass and smell some freaking roses in your life? Happy full moon week. Just be aware that the energy is rising. The emotions are coming to a culmination. Feel what you feel, dance and move it out, scream it out, you know, party, celebrate it out. Whatever you do that you know helps you to move energy through you. Emotion is energy in motion, emote. So emotions are moving through, and we are making space for the blossom. Have the best week ever. I will see some of you in Zoom ceremony in the Zoom town on Wednesday, the 23rd. And if you want to understand how this is showing up in your specific birth chart, like where are these energies showing up, you might consider joining Abracadabra Astrology, as every single week we look at how the transits are impacting your chart in the current moment, in this time, and then what to do about it. It's great if you are reading about astrology or reading about your birth chart, or you're on reels, you know, getting information, but it's impactful and life-changing when you actually have the tools and the resources to do something about the energy. Like, what is the aligned way to really step forward and to have the tools to work with the energies at play? So hope you have a beautiful week. I'll share more information below. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and I will see you on the other side.